Hello everyone, I'm the Solo Gamer, and welcome to Kerbal Space Program. Today I'm going to share the new NASA ARM pack, or the Asteroid Redirect Mission pack, that Squad and NASA have been working on. Now, I don't know exactly what involvement NASA had, but I am very, very excited, and I really hope this isn't the last time. That being said, I hope this isn't the last time that a space agency in general works with Squad to create these packs. Alright, let's get going and show you guys what's new. Okay, so right off the bat, we're going to talk about the parts. Now, this is one of the few occasions that we are actually going to get a lot of parts. And when I talk about a lot of parts, I mean game-changing parts. These are fantastic, and you guys are going to love them. Alright, so right off the bat, let's go ahead and grab ourselves a module just to showcase some of these parts. Okay, we'll drag that to the top. And, actually, drag it up a little bit more. And the reason why is because they've added large rockets. And, let's go ahead. First and foremost, let's go in here. Let's show off the new engines that we have. So we'll just stick that on there. Yeah, when I talk about large, I mean... Alright, so let's go ahead and show those off. We also have a large solid rocket booster as compared to... well, that one. Okay, so to go along with these parts, we also have larger fuel tanks. We'll just stick that on there just like that. A small large, a medium large, and a large, or we should say tall, large, for rockets. Now, I'll go into a little bit more detail with this one. This one is kind of like the upper stage rocket engine. You wouldn't use this to launch. You can, but it's mostly going to be used for upper stages. Well, upper stage large rockets, which I don't even know if you would have one, but it's just there for you. Okay, now you have the multi-nozzled engine right here. This grabs about 3,200 max thrust. It's insane. I love it. Launch stages have been changed for good. You don't really need asparagus staging anymore if you've got a large rocket with 3,200 thrust. That's incredible. And we'll go ahead and throw this solid rocket booster on here just to show you. That's what it looks like with that on top of that. So if you ever wanted to go to the moon in one single stage, you can do it. You absolutely can do it. These have now been given to us, and launch stages, like I said, are changed forever. Okay, now just for fun, I thought I'd do a little bit of a comparison between the old large and the new large. And obviously, as you can see, the medium, or the one on the left, is actually doing a little bit better when it comes to speed. However, that is not necessarily the case with the solid rocket boosters, nor is it the case in the overall result of, well, Delta V. Now, as you can see, we just lost the solid rocket boosters, pretty expected. Then we just lost those ones. And, yeah, obviously, if it's longer, it's going to burn for longer. So that's really, really nice. Now, as you can see here, we're getting up to around 30 or 40,000 on the left and 40,000 right now on the right. So there are differences between the two. If you want speed, go for the mainsail. But as you just saw, it just ran out right there. And we're still going on this one. So not only is this one more efficient, but... look at these results. I mean, they pretty much speak for themselves. On the left, we go up to about 440,000 kilometers, or meters, and on the right, we get almost to Eve's orbit. That is insane. Now, we're going to talk about this little rocket right here, which is freaking awesome. This is actually pretty cool. Now, it acts as an engine, which it is, but it's also a fuel canister as well, and it stores about 2,880 liquid fuel and oxidizer, and... like I said, it acts as an engine. We got about 2,000 thrust here, compared to the mainsail, which has 1,500, plus you need to add all the fuel on top. I don't know, this is just a very, very nice engine that you have the option of using now. Okay, so that's about it for the engines. We're going to go ahead and head into the structural tab. And of course, with the new parts, we are going to need a new adapter and a new decoupler. Good, just like that. Again, that would fit these parts right here. And that is it for the large part, or the large rocket parts. I think that they are an amazing addition to the game, and will forever change it. Okay, now let's go ahead into the utility panel, in which we have a new specific part for this pack. Now, obviously, as you may know, this pack adds asteroids, and asteroids come in a couple different classes. A through E, I think. That's as far as I've seen, A through E. E being the largest, A being the smallest. So, you're going to need something to grab onto the asteroid and basically dock yourself to it. And this advanced grabbing unit will do the job. I'll stick that on there like that. Now, I can't activate it in the VAB, but when we get outside, I'll definitely show you. This thing can be used to attach yourself to an asteroid. Not only that, but I think it can attach to other parts as well. It acts as a docking unit as well. It's just, It's the claw. So we'll go ahead and stick that onto the bottom here. Come on. There you go. Also, we have a launch escape system. Now, if you don't know already, the launch escape system is basically an abort method. If your rocket is burning up underneath you and it's all a big mess, which, granted, you have a couple of those in this game, then you're going to have to abort, and you're going to have to get away from the rocket as fast as possible. Now, this launch escape system will do the job. It has, it's basically like adding the Separatrons to your pod. However, it drags it up and away from the rocket and all the debris that's coming towards you. Alright, let's do a little demonstration here. Say your rocket's burning up in front of you, so we're gonna abort quickly, jettison ourselves away from the rocket, and, well, clear the entire airspace in where the command pod is going. And that's exactly what we did there. Now we're free to open up the parachutes whenever we want and safely get back down to well, Kerbin, without worrying about dying in the process, because dying's never fun. Okay, here we go. Let's go ahead and arm it. And there we go. We got this cool little... I don't know. I don't know if you guys have ever played Spore, but this reminds me so much of one of the legs that you can use, or the feet that you could use, rather. I really like this, and again, as I said, it does dock onto the asteroid, and it can be used to dock onto other parts. So that's really, really nice. However, I don't think you can actually dock it onto the planet. Let's check. Nope. Can't dock it onto the planet. Technically, then you would gain control of the planet, and that's just not good. Not that you could do much with it, but I just don't think you want to have a whole glitchy mess on your hands. Okay, now with this, you can also... okay, it's not giving it to me right now, but if you dock to another unit, you can also free the pivot, so that you can move the upper stage while keeping the claw in place and not moving the other part. Okay, so now we also have a little bit of a rebalancing on the smaller engines here and the ion engine. The ISP and thrusts are tweaked a little bit now, so they're going to be a little bit more effective. Let's go ahead and show you the tinier engines. Let's go in here. So if you remember what they were before, you can you can check here, compare and contrast, see what they are now. The ion engine definitely got the most out of it, and it is now more effective in space. There you go. And that's about it. Okay, we have another part, or parts, if you want to look at it that way, that have been tweaked, and while it may be aesthetic, it's going to be really, really fun to play around with. So I'm going to scroll down here. This is a craft that I made that kind of shows it off, I think. The lights are now tweakable to have colors. As you can see here, we have red, green, and blue sliders. You can slide that to whatever color you want to. You can get some pretty cool colors out of it, and I like how they did the sliders. That way there we can choose any color from the color table, basically. And I have this up in orbit, and I will show you what it can do. We'll get this thing spinning so fast here. Come on, let's go. Keep it going. You spin me right round, baby, right round. And we'll flick on the lights. And we have ourselves a nice little disco party up in orbit. Oh, that's great. That is great. I love it. I really do. Alright, now before we leave the VAB, I have one cool feature left to show you from here, is that you can now add a flag to certain parts. Now, as you can see, we can right-click on it and toggle the flag. If you want to have the flag, that's fine. If not, then don't bother with it. Also, in the flags category, we also have an official NASA flag. So we can add that to parts as well, and yeah, that's awesome. This one's upside down because we put this upside down. Let's go ahead and put that back right upright. I said upright, not like that. There we go. Upright, there we go. Perfect. Now, the cool thing is that this is also on Kerbals, and I'll go ahead and demonstrate that right now. All right, let's go ahead and jump out all the way down here. Fantastic. Now, if you look on his pack, you can see a little NASA symbol, or whatever flag you want it to be, symbol. It's a really, really nice addition to the game, even though it's very small. I appreciate that. All right, now overall gameplay changes and a little bit of fixes and stuff like that. Now, you may have noticed that there is a time warp feature right here at the Space Center, and it's also in the tracking station as well, so that you can speed up time if you want to. That being said, in the tracking station, there's a couple different things that have been changed. There are new filters for space objects, asteroids, or the unknown. Now, if we zoom out here, you can see that there are a lot of unknowns coming in close to Kerbin, or around Kerbin's influence, really. So if we go ahead and we click on this object, we can see that it's untracked. It's a size C. We can go ahead and track it, and, well, it is an asteroid, and it's going to pass between 52 meters above Kerbin. Okay, so that's not really a threat. Good, we'll just stop tracking that. We don't need to. So as I said, there are classes to these asteroids. That is a class A, that is tiny, medium, large, that's a D class. Where's the E? The E is the gigantic asteroid of the bunch, and you're going to need a lot of force to actually capture that in Kerbin's sphere of influence, or even stop it from hitting Kerbin. With the name Asteroid Redirect Mission, you're going to assume that it's just a singular mission, but it's actually the entire game. There are going to be tons of these unknown objects floating by Kerbin. Some may come into interception, some may just be passing by. So you kind of have to check them now and again, and kind of go based on that. Now, I do just want to warn you that they are only going to spawn in new saves. Sadly, old saves will not get the asteroids unless you do some tweaking in the files. I don't know exactly what to tweak, so I can't tell you. So sadly, you're going to have to start a new game if you want asteroids, if you don't want to mess around with the files. Another cool thing that was changed in the tracking station is that you can see patched conics of a craft or an asteroid intercepting another object. Now, that being said, I have set up a craft here that's heading towards the moon, so if we click on it, we can see a little bit more detail of what it's going to do, and its outcome afterwards. So again, it does show this while it's not focused, but you know what, that's okay. At least it does show the intercept right here. That's perfect. I love that. Okay, so maneuver nodes actually got a little bit of an upgrade in this pack as well. So if we go here, I'll kind of demonstrate. First and foremost, you can fine-tune your maneuver node by scrolling the mouse wheel over a certain node here to kind of tweak it in a certain direction by a small amount. As you can see, it's kind of ever so slightly moving, so you don't have to screw things up by doing that. You can do it a little bit at a time if you want to. Also, one of the cooler things that they've added to the maneuver nodes is that you can right-click on it and forward the maneuver by one orbit. So you can keep doing this. Actually, let's see if I can kind of demonstrate maybe an intercept here. Okay, so let's go right there. Let's right-click on it and forward it in orbit until we get an intercept. There we go. So that's how far away? About 4 hours away. So maybe about 4 times going around the planet. That's amazing. We can also forward it again, screw it up if we wanted to. Actually get kind of a different encounter there. 5 hours. We can kind of keep going back and forth, just so we forward it different orbits here. Obviously, we can go back in orbit. I really, really like this. So you don't have to keep waiting for it to pass behind you and move it behind and do all this crazy stuff with time warp. You can just do it from one simple maneuver node, and I absolutely love that. Alright, now it's time to demonstrate capturing an asteroid. Now, in this case, I already had something in orbit, and I was just waiting for the asteroid to come closer to Kerbin so that I can intercept it. Now, this passed between, I think, like 1 million meters above Kerbin, or 3 million, or something close. Close enough. Now, a lot of them are going to be 30 million meters away, 50 million meters away, and it's going to be really hard to kind of capture them, especially trying to grab enough Delta V in the upper stage rocket to bring them back. Now, this design was pretty good at capturing, I'd say, A to C sized asteroids. Okay, so you can capture A to C with this rocket and bring them down into a nice little low Kerbin orbit. Not that that's safe for the Kerbal populace, but you know what? It's fine. They'll get over it. There's science to be had here. Okay, so now we're just going to burn forward to intercept the asteroid at like 15.5 kilometers. It's not that far, but, well, there's some tweaking to be had. Now, this craft right here is like I said, it's really, really nice. I have a nice little interception stage right there that you can see in the back. And then in the front is where I try to slow down the asteroid to make it, to make Kerbin capture it. Alright, so I got it up to this this point here, and then I realized that it was so far off that I really needed to tweak it a little bit. And I think I got around to, what was it? Like 9 meters? No, it was a lot closer than that. I think it was like 1.5 meters or 4 meters or something. Anyways, at this point, I realized I should probably check what size the asteroid is. And when I realized it was a D, I knew I didn't have enough fuel to bring it down closer to Kerbin, but I could at least try to capture it. That was at least a little bit more possible with the fuel that I had left. So I went for it anyways. I mean, I was already in the mission. I wasn't going to stop now. I was at least going to dock up with it, and if it took me out of the atmosphere, or out of the influence, then I was going with it. That's just what was happening. So we're going to get up to this point. Now, it's kind of like docking to a craft, you know, rendezvousing with a craft, but a lot harder. Considering it's flying in and out of the influence of Kerbal, we kind of have to race up with it, speed up to its speed, and kind of leave the influence as well with it. Only for a little amount of time. Obviously enough, we have to bring it back, which is why having a lot of fuel in the upper stage is kind of needed to, you know, help things get done. Okay, so we went by it by like 1.5 kilometers, but you know what? That's not bad, considering it's kind of hard to guesstimate when you should start to slow down. Because it's, like I said, it's going so fast, and you need to burn so much speed away that you're going to lose a lot of fuel coming out here. Alright, so we're just going to approach this target very, very carefully here. Going about, I don't know, 1-2 meters. Using RCS now, because using the using the engines would just smash us right into it. We don't want to do that. That would just not be a fun day. Yeah, these asteroids can get pretty big. As you can see, this is, like I said, a size D. And this is how big it is. It's ginormous. Just imagine what a size E looks like. Now, the size A really wouldn't be much larger than the craft, I don't think. Well, I mean, it would. I don't know. I've never actually come into contact with a size A. I've just been going for the big boys like this one. It's incredibly insane that you can capture this asteroid with this this nice little docking clamp and actually maneuver it around. Alright, so we're coming in here. I kind of got a little disoriented in the when I got really close. That was why I wobbled around a little bit. Bounced off, luckily, and we're now coming in here to clamp on. There we go. It is now docked up, and we have control of the asteroid. Wow, this thing just looks so crazy, and my rocket is just so small compared to this thing. It's unbelievable. I love it. However, I did kind of notice that we weren't at its center of mass, and if I was to move this thing around, it would just wobble all over the place and spiral out of control, because I'm not at the center of mass of the object. Now, that's one of the hardest things about asteroids, is trying to latch onto it at a nice middle point, where it won't really move in either direction. So I got pretty close to it. Now, luckily, you can actually target the center of mass by right-clicking on the asteroid. You can actually rename the asteroid by right-clicking on it once you're docked up as well. I came in as close as I possibly can, but even still, it's hard to keep this thing under control and point it in a certain direction. And I was using all of my RCS to fight and control this thing, and yeah, you could just see it move on its own right there. It's incredibly difficult. And I was really, really close, too. Trying to slow this down as much as we possibly can. And I was running out of fuel, and we came about, what was this, like 35 million meters, 33, 32. Yeah, it's just, we're running out of fuel, and there we go, 29 million meters out. But you know what? That's okay, because we can come back out here, now that it's captured, with another vessel, and push this thing back into a smaller orbit. Now that it's captured, it's safe, we're done. Good! Mission completed. Alright, and last but not least, I have to showcase this feature for you guys. Also, before we get going, I do want to mention that you can now switch the time up here from MET to UT, so you want to know the exact date of, well, what you're playing, the mission, the saved game that you're on. You can go ahead and switch it to that just to see what it is. Also, switch it to mission time as well. Now, there is a cool feature in the settings as well, where you can switch it from Kerbal time to Earth time, which I think is pretty cool as well. Alright, now I'm going to showcase this last little cool feature, is that the quick save has no more restrictions. You can now save whenever you want to. So I'm going to demonstrate that right here. I am going to recommend that you do not quick save while in travel, or at least not this close to the ground, because when I quick save, you press F5, it's quick saving up there, okay? Now we're going to go ahead and load this up and see what happens. And there we go. We're going to drop... So it may not be smart to do this while flying this close to the ground, but you can now do it in atmosphere, which is really, really nice. And there we go, we stuck the landing. We'll spit him out. There we go. Anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and definitely stay tuned for more.